Hey, what's up, it's Yuna from Yunami, and today we explain why Jiraiya is most likely to return in Boruto because of Edo Tensei. Also, only a small percentage of the people who watch our videos are actually subscribed, so if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. Please enjoy this video, let's go! One of the biggest questions we had in the Naruto series was why Jiraiya never came back like so many other characters. Why didn't Nagato's Outer Path Heavenly Life technique bring him back? Or why didn't Orochimaru try to bring him back? And above all, why didn't just Kabuto do that? All of these three characters brought back the most legendary characters with the exception of Jiraiya. It's not like Jiraiya is just a random character that no one has ever heard of. In fact, he had a close relationship with all these characters. Jiraiya was Nagato's sensei, and Orochimaru and Jiraiya had been teammates for many years from childhood. As well as Kabuto should just know a legendary ninja like Jiraiya since they both came from the same village. At least two of these three should definitely have the DNA of Jiraiya, especially Nagato due to the fight between Pain and Jiraiya in Amegakure. And considering what a freak Orochimaru was, I wouldn't be surprised if he had collected the DNA from Jiraiya when they were younger, especially because Orochimaru always showed a huge interest in DNA research. And even if there wasn't a bit of Jiraiya's DNA left in Amegakure, which is total nonsense, there still must be something with a little bit of Jiraiya's DNA somewhere in Konoha. Even if it's just a hair, maybe the place where Jiraiya lived, maybe a locker where he kept his belongings, or even just old clothes. This man has spent his whole life in Konoha, there must be something somewhere. The whole situation becomes even more absurd when you consider that we can definitely prove that Jiraiya's DNA was available since Amado made the clone from Jiraiya's cells to create Koji. The first step in answering if, when, or how Jiraiya will return in Boruto is to understand why he did not return in Naruto. He was one of the most popular characters in the entire series and probably still is in Boruto. At this point, a huge shout out to all OG Naruto fans. I heard there are people who watch Boruto without having watched Naruto. Smash the like button if you are an OG Naruto fan and drop a comment with hashtag Naruto. Anyways, Jiraiya was a sensei and godfather of the main character Naruto. He was even considered to be the best option for the next Hokage, and not just once, but several times. Naruto didn't even get a chance to say goodbye. Overall, Jiraiya is an extremely important character who is one of the fan favorites that everyone wanted to see come back, but sadly we never saw him again. Besides that anime-only time travel arc. In the Naruto manga, it was said that Kabuto actually wanted to reincarnate him. He told Obito that his body lies at the bottom of the ocean where the water pressure is too great to reach. However, Kabuto claims that bloodstains on Pain's weapon provide enough DNA to bring him back. But Obito didn't want Kabuto to bring him back, probably because Kabuto will just get too powerful. But how does it all make sense? It literally seems like Kishimoto was just trying to come up with a reason to explain why he's unwilling to bring Jiraiya back, instead of actually having logical reasons why Jiraiya cannot be brought back in Naruto. We have to understand one thing. The reason Jiraiya was not brought back is not that it wasn't possible to do as the manga tried to explain, but because his return will ruin the tragedy that Naruto experienced due to Jiraiya's death. Naruto went through a very great character development by becoming much more mature, and that assumption later proved to be correct as we received confirmation from the author Kishimoto himself that the reason Jiraiya was not brought back to life had nothing to do with things mentioned in the series, but because of personal reasons. He just didn't know how to bring him back without ruining the purpose of letting Jiraiya die in the first place. Kishimoto himself even confirmed that Jiraiya was a very popular character and that he considered the Edo Tensei. Kishimoto said that he did not want to bring Jiraiya back because there was no way he could write a good way to bring him back, so he decided to mess it up anyway with a ridiculous reason. In any case, he at least considered this possibility. With Jiraiya's death, he wanted Naruto to understand how Sasuke felt and to see things from his point of view. But instead of making him feel hatred like Sasuke did, he wanted Naruto to do things differently. He intended to end the endless cycle of hatred for hatred with Naruto's personality, and thus Naruto has never tried to kill an opponent since then. This was very important. Thus the return of Jiraiya will destroy the reason he died. To sum up, some characters in the story just have to stay dead, or else it goes against the progression of the story itself, which is far worse than not bringing back a fan favorite. An extreme example would be Neji. Imagine Neji died just for someone to summon Neji right back to the battlefield. Nobody wants to see that. It's just bad writing and will destroy the emotional purpose. And that's exactly how Kishimoto felt about Jiraiya from an author's point of view, so we need to understand Kishimoto with this decision. Before I continue, please take a short moment to like this video. With your support, we can continue the Boruto content on this channel. And if you are new, feel free to subscribe with the notification bell activated. Otherwise, YouTube won't notify you if we upload a new video. But the main problem, as mentioned earlier, is not why Kishimoto decided not to bring Jiraiya back, but rather the explanation given in the Naruto series, which just feels like an excuse to justify the real reason. Even if we know the real reason, the explanation in the story should at least be logical. Logically, Jiraiya would literally be the first choice for an Edo Tensei, so there should be a very good reason why it didn't happen. I mean, we have people in Naruto who can move at the speed of light, but Kishimoto used water pressure as the reason why there was no way to get the DNA, but the air pressure on the moon is okay? And when Kabuto mentioned that there was still blood on the weapons, Obito just says no, and Kabuto just accepted it? The fact is, the reasoning Kishimoto had was understandable, but the author's reasoning alone does not make any given reason in the story logical. Jiraiya's DNA was still everywhere in Konoha, as well as in Amigakure. This man literally lost his arm. Blood was everywhere, especially on Pain's weapons, and his whole body is still missing to this day. With Boruto in particular, we definitely have the confirmation that his DNA was actually available, so it's all nonsense anyway. In Boruto, however, the reason that Kishimoto had in Naruto is no longer the case. Naruto is an adult and things are settled with Sasuke. All the arguments Kishimoto had to keep Jiraiya away from the story are gone. We know of 3 people who have a very high probability of having Jiraiya's DNA. Amado, who is confirmed to have the DNA, Orochimaru, who not only knows where Jiraiya died, but has been very close to him all his life, and definitely Kabuto too. But I am sure that there are so many more people in the Naruto world who know Jiraiya. The excuse about the water pressure can be solved in Boruto by simple ninja technology. Kishimoto can just introduce a new scientific tool that will allow people to regulate water pressure. I also see no problem in why this should happen. By why, I mean more from the point of view of the fans. If we face reality, the Boruto series is basically a standalone series that tries to build its own story apart from Naruto, even if it is based on the Naruto series. But there's no denying that the Boruto series is using huge fan service in a very intelligent way to give us fans the nostalgic feeling of Naruto. There are many reasons we all want to see Jiraiya in Boruto. We want to see Naruto tell Jiraiya what happened to Konoha, that he married Hinata and that they have 2 children, and that everything is fine with Sasuke. We want Jiraiya to see how strong Naruto has become and just give Naruto the chance to say things he just couldn't after Jiraiya died. Obviously, Jiraiya's revival would only be temporary and definitive in a situation where Naruto and Jiraiya couldn't hang out together and eat the legendary blue ice, but it will still give them the time to chat even if they had to fight each other. The only problem is explaining why, in terms of plot, Jiraiya should come back and how it could happen. We have already mentioned 3 possible characters who could do something like this. Amado will most likely not be able to master such a technique because he just seems to be the type of person pulling the strings in the background. The best way Amado can get involved in this is because of Koji. All Koji really has to do is to take some of the DNA that was used to create him and learn the Edo Tensei technique, which doesn't seem too difficult for a well-trained shinobi when considering how many people were able to perform this technique. We know Koji doesn't seem to have any bad intention towards Konoha, so this would be a great way to bring back Jiraiya, who could then fight by Naruto's side. On the other hand, we have Amado, who still is a great mystery, as we don't know to what extent he can control Koji beyond his purpose of creation and whether or not Amado is actually evil, so everything could turn very quickly against Konoha. Then we also have Orochimaru, who finally seems to have found his peace with the world and himself. So if Konoha or even the whole world were in danger, then Edo Tensei would always be a very powerful weapon, just like it happened in the Great Ninja War. In all honesty, without the Edo Tensei they would probably have lost, so this possibility is definitely not to be underestimated, especially since it was such a big part of the Naruto franchise. Considering that at some point in the future an Edo Tensei will be needed again against a very powerful opponent, Orochimaru is the best option for that. Not just because of the DNA he most likely has, but also because he knows how this technique works in the first place. You see, the possibility that Jiraiya will come back with the Edo Tensei is very likely and really just depends on whether Kishimoto wants to do this or not. It is definitely not impossible. Do you think Jiraiya will return with the Edo Tensei? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, it really supports us a lot. And if you are new, feel free to subscribe with the notification bell activated. Thank you for watching and see you next time, here in Unami.